Budanadhim dim tananadim Nadrudim dim tanana tadaratani Budanadim dim tananadim Nadrudim dim tanana tadaratani Budanadim dim tananadim
Initially, I was totally against, publicizing myself on the social media or on internet and all that. So how will I reach that dancer in that corner of the world? Social media and YouTube and Skype and internet, these are the ones that are spreading the art, making it more global, making it more international, making it more universal, and reaching out to audiences, reaching out to dance practitioners, reaching out to teachers at all these levels. But the flip side of it is there is a rampant copying and plagiarizing of items, and it is blatantly copied and the credits are not even given. That is what hurts more. Just because it's available on YouTube and just because it's available on Facebook Live, you just don't rob somebody's work of so many years and present it as your own. Have a heart. The very fact that the artist has published it on social media and internet is, she wants everybody to see it. She wants that publicity and she wants the likes, which is good. And has she given you the right to take it? The first thing that anybody has to see is, first thing, the artist before publishing it has to protect it. Failing which, the person who wants to do it because she likes it so much, I just love your choreography, I want to do it, take the permission from the artist, take it from her and give her the credit. This is a choreography of Srimati Roja Kannan that I have got permission and learned from her and I am going to present it. This is what many artists feel hurt about nowadays. There are very many talented students in my class who can sing very well, who can choreograph very well, who can conduct very well. So I give them these projects. I give them a Jatishwaram. I tell them, why don't you do your choreography and come. I use those items in my programs and I tell this, I am very proud and happy to announce that this particular Jatishwaram has been choreographed by my disciple so and so and so. And I call her on stage and give her, ask the people to give her a round of applause. Let her get credit to that, That's not done by me, I am only conducting it. It's done by her. Give that credit. Give that credit. And every time I perform my Guru's items, I announce, this is a Varnam, Ni in the Mayam in Danyasi Aditalam. The Varnam has been choreographed by my Guru, Sri Adiyar K. Lakshman. My orchestra members, they, Amma, இது எதுக்குமா நீ வந்து ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராமுக்கும் சொல்கிற, இது லக்ஷ்மண் சார் ஐட்டம் நீ எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியுமே அப்படின்னு. I say it's not that. There might be one or two persons in the audience who have come, who are first time watching this Varnam. And they cannot think that just because I am conducting the recital that it is my choreography. It has to go to my Lakshman sir. No, that is my policy. That is my policy. If it's a Padam of Kalanidhi Mami, I'll announce it is a choreography of Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan. So that is another thing that all dancers have to follow. Give the credit where it is due. It is very important. Take credit for what you have worked for what you have done.
என் ஜீவனமே என்று நம்பினேனே நாமாமிருத பானமே என் ஜீவனமே என்று நம்பினேனே.
Social media, whether it's a boon or a bane, you know, this there is no real answer to this question. There are dance schools which are, you know, raking in the you know, making the cash registers ring because of their YouTube publicities. They've reached so many lakhs of subscribers, and every time somebody gives them a hit, the money comes into their account. So there are some dance schools who are relying on that publicity, who are very happily getting that, and who are also prospering because of that. Good. Let it survive that way. And there are others who do not have even a single clipping of theirs either on YouTube or on any either. So, and they're very happy doing what they are in their own space. So, the beauty of the art form is it gives space for everybody to survive. It is which path you want to take, which road you want to start walking on. And there are some who balance both. They are here and they are not there, like that. You know, there are some who are like that. As gurus, we have tremendous responsibilities these days as teachers. When we were learning from our gurus, it was automatically instilled in us. Sir need not had to tell us all this. Somehow we got to know all this because of the atmosphere in the and the long hours of relationship that we had with our gurus. Now with the classes becoming once a week and twice a week for 1 hour you hardly have that sort of a bond with your guru nowadays. It's like in fact, even with the teachers at school, you have more time. You know, almost the whole day you spend with your teacher at school. But with your dance teacher, it's just 1 hour or 2 hours a week. So what sort of a bond can you build with that sort of a relationship, no? So it becomes even more a responsibility of the teacher to tell all this to the students, you know, to instill that discipline and to tell them, give the credit, tell them. And the other irony is they don't have one guru now, no, they just keep flipping, just running from. So first item will be from this guru, the second item will be from this, the third item will be from the guru called YouTube or internet, no. So that is another, it's just too many things have, you know, come into the art now, you know, that there is absolutely no, you know, way that we can say this is the right thing to do. Why not? Why can't I do this is the next question, you know. So as teachers, it's a big challenge for us to survive, big challenge, balancing this generation and balancing our values from our teachers. And we don't want to give up on those values, but we also have to cater to this generation. If we don't, then we lose the students, we lose the children who come into art forms like this. So how do we balance this? Give it in small doses, you know, and put it in such a way that it's the bitter truth is inside but the sugar coated pill is outside, you know. Put it in such a way that ultimately this is the reality, but when you start off you be like this, but ultimately you have to get there, you know. The teachers have to be really strong in this and should not be insecure of losing the students. That's another thing. Ayyo inniki na tittitena naliki class ku varamattalena varade, don't come. If you cannot be disciplined, if you cannot take in a minimum amount of discipline in your system, then you are not capable, you don't have the eligibility of even learning an art form like that. You need to have a discipline, and if you cannot even put up with the teacher correcting you and telling you what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do, and you are so bloody sensitive, then don't come for such art form. We have all had such horrible scoldings from our teachers. Lakshman sir just fire us like a AK-47, you know, if we do not listen or do not do something or do not remember something, that, you know, we will silently stand there and listen to it. And if we start crying, then that is the end of it. He'll tell us to get out of the class. He doesn't want to see weak girls standing there and crying. Says, தப்பு நான் சொன்னால் அதை எடுத்துக்கணும், திருத்திக்க தெரியணும். This is how we have learned. Better, otherwise don't come. திருத்திண்டு அப்புறம் உள்ளவா, எப்போ உனக்கு திட்டு கேட்க முடியறதோ அப்போ உள்ளவா. That's what he used to tell us. But he used to be also gentle on one side. So the children these days have to sensitize themselves to both. You know, they cannot, nobody in my whole house has ever scolded me. So what? You're not beyond any mistakes. Everybody has got some mistake that they have in themselves. You have to correct it. And if you don't correct it at that stage, then you're going to grow up with that. You know, the discipline and the correction has to happen when you're young. And you cannot, after years and years, you cannot turn back and say, yo, you never corrected me. You didn't tell me that it was wrong to do something like this. So that also has to be instilled by the gurus these days. More than technique, you know, technique should be there, but everything is not technique. Everything is not technique. There should be that soul in it. That soul is most important. Even if your hands are falling down or your elbows like this, if it is done with soul, you know, people are not going to look at the falling elbow or your hand. They're going to look at your face and enjoy that moment from you. So that soul has to be there. You cannot just keep dancing like a robot and expect people to like it. That is okay for some time. You know, perfect movements, perfect adavals and all. Okay, and then what? You know, that soul has to be there. That 1 minute or 1 second when you give that experience to the Rasika, that is what is most important in a performance. That is what, you just thoroughly enjoy what you are doing. Enjoy what you are doing. You know, so that way even if you mess up something, people are not going to mind it. You know, I know as human beings, everybody has this freeze that happens on stage. Suddenly you really don't know what is the next sadavu. Oh my God, I've forgotten what it is. And then you just freeze and then you get it back, you know. So even that will be an enjoyable experience. You know, just laugh at yourself. I do that. I'll be busy doing my Trikala Jati and in between I will forget, oh my God, what is this on this side? I don't know. And then I look at my student who's doing the Natvangam and then I give her a very silly smile and say, one more, okay, now I know. And then, you know, I just enjoy that. So that enjoyment, even the audience, nobody will mind it if you do that. So that sort of, you know, attitude you should have, you know, that enjoying whatever you're doing, thoroughly enjoy whatever you're doing, and then give that everything to that moment. Don't have this half-baked performance, you know, who's looking at me, whether that critic is there, whether she's watching me, whether did that photograph, did he capture me on my right side or my left side, which is the best side of me. Forget all that. Maybe he will catch you at the worst moment sometimes, you know, and even publish on the paper. When you're halfway through a pose or something, he'll catch you. It's okay, doesn't matter. People know what the performance was like. People remember that more than, you know, how you looked, whether you looked your best in the photo or things like that, you know. So that sort of thing you concentrate on. Concentrate on giving it everything. Then the soul will come out. That is when the audience are going to enjoy you. You know, the first 5 minutes is when your costume, your aharya, your kunjalam or your sauri, and then your is going to matter. The first 5 minutes. After that, it is your dance that has to speak, your natyam that has to speak. None of this will matter from that point onwards. None of this will matter. Even if your toad is out or if your belt is hanging somewhere, if you are going to deliver at that level with that intensity, all this will be forgotten. That's what I feel. That's my experience. So when I started learning, and it all started very casually learning because my mother insisted that I learn, and I really started taking a liking for it after maybe I turned 15 or 16. So from 5 to maybe 15 or 16, almost 10, 11 years, it was just a process. It was just a routine, like going to school, going to dance class, but thoroughly enjoyed the publicity that it gave, you know, the costumes and the limelight you were in on stage and all that. As kids, we enjoyed it. And recognition from the family, oh, these are those dancing girls, dancing sisters. That is what we enjoyed. But when, at which point of time that I really, even thought that dance is going to be my life, full, my profession and my career and my life, was much, much, much later. Maybe I would say early 30s, maybe. Even I was working outside in a travel agency. I used to go to dance class, but the routine of going to dance class never stopped. That was a part of my evening routine. So that happened. Even in office, I used to finish my work, go to the class, change, perform, practice for 2 hours, come back home at 8 or 8:30, and then, that routine continued. And these small programs here, there, we used to keep performing. So because we were constantly in practice, so there was no actual practice for a performance, things like that. We were just always in practice. So sir would come and say, "Nalik oru program irukku, we have to go and dance. These are the items you have to dance." We used to just go dance happily and come. But then that time when I took it up seriously and thought that decided that I'm going to make a profession of it, because nothing else interested me, or I couldn't survive in any other profession. Then I decided, if I am going to be in this, then I'd rather work for it. If I don't, then I'm not going to get anywhere. So I put my heart and soul, everything into it, and committed, sincere hard work. And I never looked for results. I waited for the results to come. I never looked for it. I never ran behind it. But I worked. Whatever I was supposed to do, I did it correctly to the T. I worked for it. If I had to write an application to a Sabha, I used to write it. If I had to go and hand over it myself, I used to go hand over it. I didn't shy from any of those. And I was constantly working on my, my classes and trying to correct my techniques and be with my guru. And I was there with my guru whenever he wanted it. Whenever he wanted it. When I started taking class, I used to have my classes in the evenings. And then suddenly out of the blue, he'll call me. Roja, please come immediately. I want you to perform Swami Nananda Nadime. Somebody has come. They want to take a recording. I used to stop the class, immediately change to my practice sari, just go and dance happily. So that's sort of that is for how much I was immersed in it, day in and day out, day in and day out. And I was very happy doing it. I found my happiness, my peace, my everything in doing just that routine of teaching, practicing, performing, teaching again. I have so many times I've taught Tattadavu. I still don't shy from teaching Tattadavu to a newcomer. That sort of a commitment you should have, the sincerity you should have. If I take up something, I will do it. If I don't do it right, then I will not rest. So that has kept me going. That has kept me going. And I love myself. That's one thing. So that's why I always want to keep myself good, feel good. That feel good factor is very important for me. My house is here. My class is just 10 steps away. But to go from here to there, I will dress up fully. I will wear a sari or a salwar kameez or whatever it is. I will match my accessories. I will match my bindi. I will do everything. And in full full form, I will go and sit there in class, because I feel that I have to give that to the art. That is the respect I give to the art. It's not that I can just go in my house coat and take a class. I can do that. Nobody is going to ask me, why are you sitting in an IT and taking class? But that's not the, I would say, maryada, respect, I would say. That's not the respect that you give for the art form. So that is what I follow till now. If I have to travel, I have to travel with all my accessories. Otherwise, I pay excess baggage and take my accessories. And I am ridiculed by my friends for that. I am ridiculed left, right and center, but I don't care. I say, this is my image. I have to maintain it. I have to be like this. So, and that's become it's caught on with so many of my disciples. Many of them are imitating me, They say, no, we want to be like Roja Miss. We want to be like you. And we feel very proud about it. So I do everything to keep myself in that state. So every day morning I say, I'm only 16 today. I'm not 59, I'm only 16. So, and I know I have so much to look forward to in a day. Oh, idu pannano, adu pannano, I have to do this, that. Oh, it's already 7. Oh, I have so much to do. My sleep is very less because I have so much in my mind. Oh, inniki idu pannala, adu pannala. So I have my agenda worked out. Things to do is very important for me. First thing in the morning, I have a big list of things to do. And I keep working towards it. So if I have to keep working towards it, I have to have a healthy mind, I have to have a healthy body. So I don't compromise on that. My fitness is very important for me. Not only to look good, but also to feel good. Only if I feel good will it reflect on my face. And another thing is, I always have this positive shield around me. I don't want, although there is a lot of negativity around, there is so much of pain, there is so much of suffering. I empathize, I sympathize, everything I do. But I also have this shield that, makes me only keep the positive in front and the negative it's not escaping. I'm not escaping from the issues. I also am part of the issue. I try to find solutions. That's my take. If there is an issue, and it is an issue, there is no escaping from it, how do I tackle it? How do I manage it? How do I win over it? This is what so I am able to have that positivity around me all the time. And everything I enjoy. If I have to now go and teach somebody, a Ganapati Kautuvam or something, okay, fine, I'll do that. I enjoy doing, If there is a student who's eager to learn, who's eager to work, that is enough for me. I love teaching. I'm passionate about teaching. More than performing, I love teaching. So that is, and so I'm always surrounded by these teenagers and, toddlers and kids and all that. Miss. They keep calling me Miss. I don't know why. When my children call, I'll say, I'll talk to you in 10 minutes. What? Your Miss Gumbal is around you, so you can't talk to us now. That sort of a thing. So that keeps me going. That's my elixir for life, I feel. That's how life should be. And I do not shy from trying out something new. I said, come on, give it a go. So what? Vanda varatu varlana parvalla. Be it, trekking, be it mountaineering, be it trying some new movement, trying Karana. When I try something, I fail so miserably, everybody will be laughing, all my colleagues. I say, so what? At least I'm trying, no? You guys don't even want to try, make an attempt. So that's a sort of positive outlook I have towards everything. My dream is to start playing on the veena. I learnt, but then I gave it up. Now I don't have the time, but I have my veena still. So at some point of time, I'll take this up also and do it before, I firmly believe destiny. I'm destined for something in life and I will get it whatever happens. So I was destined to be born in a certain way and come up and live a certain way and go through certain rough times and come and regain my balance and all that. I am a total believer in that. Nothing happens if it is not preordained for you. But then I am also a firm believer in another thing, is that if there is one path or one door that is closed for you, then automatically there is another door that is open for you. So it is up to you to take the right door and go. So it is not that anywhere I go I see only all the doors are closed for me. No, I don't believe that. If there are some doors that are closed, then there is some other door that is open for you. Go there, reach through that. So that is what I believe in, and it has happened that way for me at every point of time. And I am very easily, I forgive and forget. I don't carry a grudge for a lifetime. I never do that. I tell that to everyone who comes in contact with me, my students, my children, my family, my mother. I tell everybody, don't, it is okay. So what? Now, you cannot say everything is lost because of that one word or one action that somebody did, that you're going to be against them for the rest of your life. Don't be that. So that way my heart is very light. I don't have too many negative things in me, and I see the positive in everything. Even now I go and watch Arangetrams, performances of junior dancers, performances of upcoming dancers, performing of senior dancers, legends, whatnot. I watch everybody, and from every performance I have something to take. I take something. How well that little girl did that, no? அந்த மாதிரி நம்மளும் பண்ணலாமே. That is what I think. அந்த ஜூனியரை நம்ம என்ன போய் பார்க்கறது? I never have that attitude in me. If I am free and if there is a performance, I will go and watch. So that way, I have this positive thing around me. That way. So that is one thing that life has taught me. And the troubles or the challenges that I had to face also, somehow with divine grace or support from family and friends or whatever it is, it was not impossible for me to handle. I could handle it. There is a way that was showed to me, and I took that path and I handled it. So it's not that God completely shut me out of everything and I had to sit inside a room and then rest of my life is gone. No, I learnt from those experiences, and I never shy from experimenting. That's another thing. So I'm happy doing it. If I have to go and try out some Zumba, I will try. If I have to do some jazz, I will do jazz. If I have to do yoga, I will do yoga. If I have to run, I will run. If I have to walk, I will walk. Try it. So that's one way you keep yourself, positive and, move on. Just don't keep sitting back. Oh, apdi aidte. No, I don't do that. Mugattai முகத்தை 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 தேகம் 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 முழுமையும் காட்டாது மூடு மந்திரம் ஏனையா முகத்தை காட்டியே
ಪರುಲನ ಮಾಟ ನಮ್ಮವಧೂ ಪ್ರಾಣನಾಯಕ ಪರುಲನ ಮಾಟ ನಮ್ಮವಧೂ ಪ್ರಾಣನಾಯಕ ಪರುಲನ್ನ ಮಾಟ ನಮ್ಮವಧೂ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಾಯಕ ಪರುಲನ ಮಾಟ ನಮ್ಮವಧೂ ಪ್ರಾಣ ನಾಯಕ ದೀಂ ನಾದ್ರ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ತದರ ತಾನಿ ಉದನ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ದೀಂ ನಾದ್ರ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ತದರ ತಾನಿ ಉದನ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ದೀಂ ನಾದ್ರ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ತದರ ತಾನಿ ಉದನ ದೀಂ ದೀಂ ತನನ ದೀಂ